Welcome to Fight the Good Fight Club, the podcast about the relentless pursuit of a life and relationships filled with purpose, love, joy, and peace. If you're ready to get real and dig deep, then you're ready for Fight the Good Fight Club.
Hey, welcome to Fight the Good Fight Club. I am Cynthia.
And I'm Marcel.
And we are on a ledge with no wire, or no net, no harness.
Right. That's right.
We are just crazy today. We actually came up with our topic. Marcel and I have just been I don't know. It's been a crazy long week. So we came up with our topic. And I'm really excited about it, but I don't know what it's going to look like. Jesse is going to make us shut up when we're supposed to, and he's going to bring us in when we're supposed to. And I know it's going to be a great episode because I trust my co-host, and he trusts me. He really shouldn't. But so the episode today is based on lesson number 152 from A Course in Miracles, The Power of Decision is My Own. And this was selected based on a conversation that Marcel and I had where I said, I want to do something on being impeccable with your words. That's one of the 4 lessons, Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The 4 Agreements.
Yes.
And I love this agreement, be impeccable with your words. And it's just, for some reason, it's been resonating in my head. So I said to Marcel, we did it backwards. I said, could you find a lesson that brings this agreement in so that we can do this fabulous, like I said, it's going to be scary today. But Marcel, talk to us about the lesson and then we'll see how it ties in with being impeccable with your words. Just talk.
So I've always believed there's 2 aspects of everything. There's the science of things and the art of things. So the science, this whole podcast was we were supposed to be, and I think we've tried to come from the Course in Miracles. So this time I'm thinking, okay, that's the science. The art is trying to dovetail a lesson from A Course in Miracles into, you were just adamant about, I really want to be impeccable with your words. So I thought, okay. So what was interesting is I'm flipping through, trying to, my mind, a good lesson. I actually had to get the book, and this is the one we came up with. The Power of Decision is My Own.
Yeah.
And so the way they dovetail together is when you're impeccable with your words, you say what you mean, and you mean what you say. But sometimes it takes a little effort to do that and find the words. So what do? You're filtering through your own thoughts to figure out. That filtering is decision making. No, I don't want to say that. That's not really what I mean. That's not what I want to say. You're filtering through. The power of decision is my own. So now, to be impeccable with your word, we have often said this. Thoughts are like ping pong balls or lottery balls to bounce around in your head. You pick each one out and you see what it is. This number, that number, or this thought, that thought. But you get it out of your head and you filter through, figure out what you want to say. So I think this is really the most important thing, because sometimes words are like toothpaste. Once you squeeze them out of the tube, you can't get them. That's it. And they're very powerful.
And I'm listening to you, and it reminds me of the episode that we had, several episodes that we had before. What is it? The emotion comes first, or the feelings
come first, and thoughts come from the feelings. Because I want to say stupidly, my whole life I was thinking, okay, you think things and they cause these feelings. No, it's the feelings that cause the thought.
Well, doesn't that then just slide right into the decision making, right? So you have these feelings that bring up these thoughts.
Yes.
And if you're having a feeling of anger, a feeling of sadness or shame, then you get these thoughts, and then they rush out of your mouth, and all kinds of bad things happen.
Exactly. So the words usually, be impeccable with your words. I love you, I hate you. Those are very powerful words. And so I was watching a movie, and it kind of dovetails in this thought. Abraham Lincoln vampire hunter. There's a seat, man. There. So the director is a guy named Timur Bekmambetov. Now, with a name like that, you got to do something
That's
great.
it. Can you say that again? It's really
Timur Bekmambetov. He's obviously Russian. Really great Russian dude.
I love that you know that.
This scene,
Yes.
Abraham Lincoln's mother got killed. And the guy that killed him is a guy named Jack Barnes, and this is in the movie.
Okay.
So this other guy's training Abraham Lincoln how to hunt vampires and kill them. And so they're in a forest, and he's taken a crude skill of Abraham Lincoln's, which is he can use an axe. So this fella who's training him, he goes, okay, here it is, this tree. Chop it down with one swing. He goes, that's impossible. It's nearly, over a foot in width or in diameter. He goes, tell me, Mr. Lincoln, what you hate. He goes, I hate Jack Barnes, the guy that killed. He goes, then that tree is Jack Barnes. Strike him down. And so one swing of the axe is like, chip a little piece of bark. He goes, clearly you don't hate him too much, right? And he goes, tell me what you hate. He goes, I hate that my mother was taken away. Notice how Jack Barnes is out of the equation now. What he hates is that his mother was taken away. He's like, so he swings again, a little bit more power. He goes, tell me what you hate. I hate that I was afraid. All of a sudden, the swing gets more powerful. He goes, pathetic, the guy who's teaching him. He goes, I hate that my brother, my father, everyone we knew has lived in fear. And boom, he hits the tree again. He goes, I hate that I was too little. He goes, and weak. And boom, the next swing. He goes, and you hate that you let your mother die. And on that, the power came through, and he chopped the rest of the tree down in one swing.
Big giant tree.
And he goes, and this is the message. Yeah. Real power comes not from hate, but from truth.
There you go.
The truth of the matter, he hated himself. He wasn't big enough. He wasn't strong enough to protect his mother from being killed. And you say, well, he was just little. Well, he was little. Of course, but it doesn't, the facts don't matter when it comes to your feelings. I remember years ago, I don't even know if I should talk about this thing. Let's just say there were certain instances with my kids. When I showed them facts, all I heard was, we don't care what you say. We believe what this person says. We don't care what facts you have. We believe what she said. What they're saying is we're hurt inside. And, I'm thinking about this is what happens in divorce. Little kids blame themselves that their parents are getting divorced.
Yeah.
They blame themselves. Someone's always to blame. Where does it stop? Abraham Lincoln in this movie was blaming Jack Barnes for his anger. Then he realized, peel back chop the tree. So, a little more, getting down to the layers of the onion, it come down that he was just angry that he wasn't capable of saving his mother and blamed himself for her being killed. So what are the trees in our life that we want to chop down? And we can do it with one swing. And we've been talking about this whole podcast series, right? What's the one swing? Forgiveness. Can chop down that tree of hatred and anger. That's powerful to cut that down with one swing of forgiveness. Let it go is another powerful swing of an axe to chop down a tree of grievance, of hatred towards someone. And that's why all this ties together. Be impeccable with your words. I almost thought of something political. We're keeping politics out of this. So someone can...
Well, somebody last night said words matter. And they do.
They do matter. That's why it's being impeccable. Like if I had 3 last words to say to you above all else, what would I say? Continue to be happy. That's 4. I can't count. I wouldn't say. Selfish would be, remember, I love you. Okay, 4 words. Remember, I love you. That's 4.
Okay.
No, continue to be happy is what I would say to you. That's unselfish, right?
Yeah.
Selfish would be, remember I love you, right?
Yeah, 'cause it's about you.
so impeccable with my words to display or convey what I would hope for you while we're alive. I selfishly want to see you happy regardless whether I'm here or not, right? That's being selfish. That's being impeccable with what I really want to say to you. Not I love you. Continue to be happy. That's really being impeccable with my words, is saying those things. And I'm deciding, trying to relive my truth to you. The power of decision is my own. I know we're all over the map with movies and directors and cool Russian names and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
really, this is powerful stuff. Being
Yeah.
impeccable with your words. And what I would say to my kids, same thing. Find happiness, continue to be happy, find the right person. I wouldn't make it about me. And I think truly that to me is what I'm learning, where I'm finding freedom when I don't make it about me,
Yeah.
So being impeccable with your words is a very powerful statement. And by the way, we have to mention the other 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your words, say what you mean, what you say. Don't assume anything about anything or anyone. Don't take things personally, and always
Do your
best.
best. Yeah.
And you can, like Abraham Lincoln did his best as a little kid. What could he do, But he's blaming himself, and he's lashing out this anger toward this guy who, he took his mom, but he's really upset his mom's gone. Oh, so before I forget, when you were talking about this, the thing I kept asking myself this morning was, how is it that I could forgive a guy that murdered my brother much easier than I could certain members of my family?
Yeah.
And I sat there and I thought about it. Well, my brother that got murdered, he had a lot of problems, issues, emotional issues. And when I was about 18, I came down here to FIT to go to school. And I remember one time I went back, I was looking for my brother. And he meant a lot to me because he was like a father in a way. So I found him, and he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing. And here he is, 10 years older than me. So I went and got something that was, I'll just say, a substance abuse. And I said, hey, you're my older brother. You're teaching me how to live. So I'm going to do it right. He grabbed my hand and goes, don't, man. And I said, well, you're teaching me. So I tried to help him with whatever he was going through. And then I came back and it was upsetting me so much. I was told to go to an Al-Anon meeting, which is meetings for people who have family members or people you love who are having, issues with substances or whatever. So I realized the reason I could forgive my brother's murderer is because deep down, if I was blaming myself for where my brother was, but I really tried to help him get out of that life, and so I was at peace. I wasn't angry at his murderer. And in fact, deep down in a weird way, I felt that he released my brother from the pain that he couldn't release himself from. It's crazy to think that way.
Well, it's interesting. You're saying there's nothing. So I guess I'm listening to what you're saying, and it's easier to forgive when we're not blaming ourselves.
Thank you.
Ourself is the hardest thing to forgive.
Exactly. And it stems.
We're so hard on ourselves.
We are. And we blame ourselves. But yet, we usually project that blame on someone else.
Exactly.
And so it's like if you're a man, and I don't know if that's being chauvinistic, but there's there in the institution of family, it's usually you have a head of household, a man. Don't get me wrong about equality, glass ceiling. I'm not.
For argument's sake.
For argument's sake.
Yeah.
A man who, when you get married and have a family, that's a powerful, powerful thing to lose.
Yeah.
And there's still, so even thinking about it. So you can blame someone else for a divorce that you didn't want, right? And you can blame, these kids have these whatever issues, whatever, and you go back. But really, I blame myself. And I think, but I didn't really ever see that I didn't make enough money. I didn't know how to listen better. I didn't know how to listen to deeper needs or want. All these things that I fell short of as a husband and as a father, I blame myself. But again, like Abraham Lincoln being that kid, at some point you go, you know what? I knew what I knew, and I did the best I could where I was with what I had. So it's unfair to blame yourself for something. So these are the train keeps moving. life keeps flowing, the river keeps flowing, life keeps going. And so that scene, I really got a lot out of it. It's you drill down to the truth. I can't blame this person. I can't blame that person. I can't even blame myself. It is what it is, and move on and learn from it, and maybe don't make the same mistakes again, or be more attentive. This is why we're doing this podcast, is to learn more, right? So the same thing, be impeccable with your words. And so I think it takes two, like, you and I have really, gotten really, bless you.
I'm going to sneeze. Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
I still bless you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to take it.
Oh, my gosh. I'm just sitting here, like, listening to you. But keep going. This is amazing stuff.
So the power of decision is my own. And in that lesson, it says that pain is a choice, suffering is a choice. And it will really piss you off, because just like, how do you choose not to have pain, right? It is what it is. You filter through the thoughts, choose those thoughts, and just work through them. Write them down on paper, I always say. Get them out of your mind, off your chest. Get them out, and then you can get past, you can keep chopping. And then all of a sudden, one fell swoop of a swing, you can chop down that tree.
I love that. I almost want to go to break, because this whole part, like, I've hardly said anything. I'm listening to you, and you're a wise dude anyway.
Sweetheart.
And maybe because I love you. But I don't know if being impeccable with your words is just something that just viscerally needed to come up. You came up, but I'm listening to you, and it's just resonating, and it's just such a powerful topic. And I want to sort of leave it here. This first segment, it's just been incredibly powerful. And I think that I want to do a hard break here, and then I want to come back and maybe talk about, because you were just about to talk about our relationship and how being impeccable with our words has been helpful for us. So I love this first part. Let's leave this, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about being impeccable with our words in relationship. Yeah? Is that good?
That's good.
I love it. Thanks, Jesse. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. For more tips and ways to dig deep and get real, sign up for our newsletter, read blogs, and shop our merch at fightthegoodfightclub.com.
And we are back. Wow, that first segment, Marcel, we were just talking about how incredible. I just picked a topic. I think that it's just been resonating, and it's just been something that's been rolling around in my head. And it just, every time I've listened to conflict that friends were having, the family was having, that feelings were coming up, and I wanted to say things. And the little voice in my head has just whispered to me, be impeccable with your words. And it just gave me those few seconds to not react and not speak, because what was going to come out of my mouth was not what I really wanted to come out of my mouth. It was just emotion. It was anger. Yeah. It's just been, I've been running a simmer, over the last couple of weeks.
And Abraham Lincoln, again, remember we were talking about how he used to write letters to his, quote, enemies, but he would never mail them.
Yeah. I used to do that when I was younger. It's interesting. When I was a big letter writer when I was in my 20s and my 30s, and I didn't send them. I would just stick them in a drawer. And actually that course that I used to do a lot of therapy, and I used to, obviously, I was going through stuff. If you listen to previous episodes.
I guess I'm special that you actually mail them to me.
Yeah, I don't even, I just listen to this. Instead of writing it, I was going to tell you this. No.
I'm going to dictate this letter.
I'm going to dictate. Why don't you sit here while I dictate this text? And hit send. But it's funny, though. I think I was listening to a friend that I was having drinks with, and I've just been... I think maybe with this 2020 year of COVID, and we're coming to the end of this year, and I was talking to my business coach, And I just had this realization that, in a normal year, and I use the word normal loosely, we have big high highs and big low lows. And there's like this roller coaster. I know that there are people that like to be on the merry-go-round. They like it steady, and they don't like the high highs. They don't like the low lows. They would much rather just have it go round and round and round. I love the high highs, and I take the low lows, because if you don't get the high highs, you're not gonna. So I just kind of like take them and I roll, and I would rather be on a roller coaster than on a merry-go-round in my life, right? So this year, because we've kind of had to be indoors, and we've kind of had to, our lives just been really, really different. It's just been structured generally. People have just tried to get through this year, right? So the high highs have been really difficult to have. We can't go to the bar and hang out with our friends. We can't. There's so many things that we haven't been able to do, and we've just had to adjust, right? So as we're getting to the close of this year, I'm tired, right? I've felt tired. I've felt just sort of like my life hasn't been mine to control. And I realized that part of that is because we've had to create a new normal this year, professionally, personally, all different ways. And everyone's kind of had to figure it out in their own way. So I've found that I've been irritated much more. And I don't know why. I was talking to my coach and I said, I have no reason to be irritated and to complain. My business is going really well. My relationship is going my personal relationship with my partner, my man, is going really well. There's just so many things that are going well. Why am I so irritated? Why was it so difficult for me to get out of bed this morning? And these feelings have been coming up. And I started kind of acting out. Like I was at a friend's house a couple of weeks ago. And man, I was running my mouth, and I was just, and I apologized to my friends. And I said, I'm really sorry. I don't know why I'm irritable. And I just want to apologize to you and just tell you that, my mouth is just running, and they were gracious, and they're like, it's okay. You're usually not like this. You're usually.
Something was triggering it, right?
Something was triggering me.
And you never know what it is, because remember the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer?
Yeah.
When you're going through something, you store every bit of information about it, what you see, what you hear, what you smell. And unbeknownst to you, there could have been something that resembled something that was around. Could have been a simple color or something that was around you when you were going through something difficult. And there it was. And it's like, it's triggering that pain, but you're venting a little bit through, and you don't know why you're acting out. Because look, it usually goes feelings, thoughts, actions. Mm-hmm. That's why crimes of passion go from feelings to actions. Yeah, you skip the thoughts, you lose.
I
your
totally
mind.
can understand how someone can go postal.
I do too.
I've been going postal,
and that's what I'm saying. We all do. I'm thinking, why are horror movies so popular? Because we're like, it's almost like there's a part of us being acted out in that movie.
Well, the ID channel, right? Watching those the Investigator and all those, and reality TV. Like we just.
Why are they so popular?
Yeah, because they give you an opportunity to vicariously act out.
Well, the shadow in psychology. Was it Nietzsche or Jung who came out with the idea that the shadows, that dark recesses of our mind, the most despicable thoughts we could ever have, but we have them nonetheless. And when they come out, you need to just don't judge them, let them filter out. And where are they coming from? Some deeper feeling of whatever. And a lot of it can be just hereditary, being that, it's in our genes.
Archetypal. The archetypes.
You got it. So, but I mean, that's what I've learned to do, is just try to filter through. And being impeccable with your word does one thing for sure. You're trying to say, what do I want to say? And I want to say what I mean. Mm-hmm. What you've just created a filter for yourself to filter through those thoughts and get them out and get them through. When you're rambling, you're not filtering anything.
Yeah.
And you're not being impeccable with your word because everything's coming out. I hate you. I love you. You piss me off. You make me happy. It's like, where's all that?
Well, think about it. When we're upset with somebody, especially the people we love, because who hurts you? The person who loves you or that you love is the person that can hurt you the most, right? A stranger, somebody cuts you off in traffic, you like flip them off or do whatever you do. I don't flip people off, but I do say mean things in the car.
You scream at them.
I do. I yell at them.
He can't hear you. You do. I love it.
I know. But I yell at my car. But you know what? 10 seconds later, something, a phone call comes in and it's gone, right? It's past, generally speaking, right? Unless you're that crazy person that holds on to it all day or whatever.
All day long.
All day long.
And you tell everybody.
You tell everyone, I know. But I think that, coming back to our lesson, the power of decision is my own and being impeccable with my words and being, and I'm finding that a lot of friends, like I'm going through my Facebook feeds and Instagram and TikTok, and I'm going through all this stuff, and people are seriously reacting. And I think that it's just a lot of negative energy just coming, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's family or whatever. And then what do? We react. And who do we react with? The people we're closest with, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I think that in terms of relationships, I find, and I've just sitting back and wanting to be impeccable with my words. And maybe that's why this came up, and maybe that's why I brought it up to you, and we're talking about it, and I'm listening a lot more than speaking today in that first part, because it's important. And it's important in relationships. And it's important with your children, with your parents, with your kids, with your spouse, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, whatever the case may be, that we kind of in this heightened this period of heightened emotion, because there's a lot of fear. There's an enormous amount of fear running around us right now. People are afraid maybe of COVID. Maybe people are afraid of the political environment. Maybe people are afraid of whatever it is. Just fill in the blank. What are you afraid of? But there's a lot of fear in the world right now.
There's only two emotions, right? There's fear and there's love. Everything else, every other emotion is an offshoot of one of those two foundations.
Generally, yeah.
So as you were speaking, again, I was thinking about Abraham Lincoln. That movie.
Let me see if I get this straight. I'm speaking, and you're thinking about something else entirely.
Well, I can't I can't keep my eyes off of your hair. It's so beautiful. And then maybe Lincoln's beard. I don't know. There's no comparison. So, but
my hair reminds you of Lincoln's beard.
No,
I don't know how to take that.
They're both hair.
Maybe having fear or anger come up. Okay.
But you said something that struck me, that you like the ups and downs. Me personally, I'm tired of the ups and downs. I'm trying to be more consistent, which is why I'm being more
I want great joy and happiness.
I agree. So filtering through your thoughts, you get down to the emotions of fear. When Lincoln was chopping down that tree in that movie, every time he said, I hate that I was afraid. I hate everybody that we knew was afraid. I hate that we lived in fear, and that's what he hated. And so we're coming from one or the other. We're afraid of something happening, or we're afraid of something happening again. And that's, we live in fear of one of those two, rather than cutting through all that. And this lesson, The Power of Decision is My Own, is all about that. Choosing not to have the pain, choosing not. And how do you do that? You and I, we didn't get to an argument. We were talking about relative truths. Well, the real truth has no opposite. It's absolute. The truth is the truth. Else. The truth is incontrovertible. Malice can attack it. Ignorance can deride it. But in the end, there it is. Benjamin Disraeli said that. And then also the truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
So Lincoln, the truth set him free.
But first, you have to identify what your truth is.
And it's hard to find that.
And sometimes we tell each other things that are not true.
Yeah, right.
Because I definitely know there have been times, and I don't remember an exact example at the moment, but I know that I was working through this with one of my therapists. I had multiple. No, at different times, not at the same time.
Well, I was going to crack a joke.
You totally
your
can.
Multiple personalities.
My multiple. Each personality
therapists.
had a therapist.
So technically, there's probably 18 therapists in there.
Oh my God! And he wonders why I have thoughts of murdering him in his sleep. I dream about that sometimes.
To die by your hands would be a lovely way to die, baby. I'm okay with that.
I love this, man. So, but last night, we were talking about something, and you're working through emotions with a person because you're going through some stuff, and with your children or whatever. And I remember you said something last night, and I said, well, that's not the truth. The truth is that you're blaming this person. That's not spiritual. You're blaming this person for what's going on.
Absolutely.
And you looked at me with daggers in your eyes, and then you were impeccable with your words, and you said, there's truth in that. But it was a truth that you don't want to that you don't want to accept.
I know. I keep going back to this because I love that movie.
Back to the vampire.
Jack Barnes took
that.
So the
scene
person I was
is
hating
amazing.
was my Jack Barnes, and I got to
Yes.
get past that. No, I
Yes.
hate that.
That
I'm
you allowed it
missing
to happen.
certain relationships right now that I wish I could make better, and I go back, and then again, ultimately I'm mad at myself for not having the skills to cope and deal with whatever's going on at that point in time, not knowing how to ask, reach. I was stuck
Exactly.
there.
But our mind wants to protect us.
Yeah.
And it puts those thoughts. Yeah. Do you know that that's one of the reasons why we dream and we have nightmares and we have all that? Because the emotions and the reality of our lives works itself out in our sleep because it protects us from what we want to deny or what we're most afraid of. So what happens? We get these thoughts and it just creates these false truths that we can deal with.
Yeah.
And then we create scenarios around that to protect ourselves. Yeah. So I was talking to this week when I was having drinks with my dear friend, and I was giving her some real truths. And she was crying, and I said, I'm sorry that I'm making you cry. I said, but, why are you allowing this person that's by your side to treat you this way? Why are you accepting that you are not good enough to have peace and love and joy in your life? Why are you allowing this?
This lesson, she's using the power of decision. It's her own. She's choosing that.
Yes.
But really, what is she doing? She's choosing to be a victim.
Exactly. And that's what I told her.
Right.
And why? Because
victim
it's easier.
Or victor.
Exactly. Because it's easier to be a victim.
But also you're afraid of choosing the other path because it's unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. Exactly. But at some point the pain is like, I don't want this pain anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And she was telling me that before we go out, she said this to me, and I looked at her. I said, "Why aren't you choosing that?" She was crying. She's having problems with her husband, and she said, "The happiest time that I had was with my daughter when he was out of the house, and I was with my daughter for 8 months, and we did things together. We shopped. We went to the beach. We did these wonderful things." And I said, "Why aren't you? I'm sorry. You're crying and you're talking about the happiest times that you had. Why aren't you choosing that?" And she just cried. She said, "Because I'm scared."
There you go, fear, right? So humility is really my number one goal in life is to be humble and kind.
Mine is grace, to have grace with the people, to have grace with myself.
Constantly, according to my view. So
Thank you, babe. I got to tell you something, though. We're doing this Be Impeccable. We didn't fight for this episode. We didn't fight last night. I don't think we did. We didn't fight this.
Oh, you baited me, all right. I have learned to be impeccable with my thoughts. Screw the words, man. I've got it at the thought level.
All right, we are going. We can't have a good episode because you're all loving me. And I'm loving you, loving me. Okay. So we are going to, gosh, this is some really, really powerful stuff. So we are going to go on break, and then we're going to come back with our nuggets, because this episode is almost over. But it's just jam-packed with all this amazing goodness. And I love it. So we'll be back with Marcel and the vampire that has just taught us so much today.
Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. For more tips and ways to dig deep and get real, sign up for our newsletter, read blogs, and shop our merch at fightthegoodfightclub.com.
And we're back with Cynthia, Marcel, and the vampires. This is such a powerful, powerful episode. We actually, it's funny, be impeccable with your words. We don't need to jam pack this episode with a ton of words, because the words that have been coming out of your mouth have been really amazing.
Well, you know,
do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? They've been amazing.
You know what it's interesting I find about that? You do have to filter through your thoughts to find the ones that represent what you feel. Mm-hmm. But what are you doing in that process? You're getting rid of the thoughts. You're finding the ones that they actually... who are they? There have been studies done with criminals. They find that the vast majority have limited vocabulary.
Yes.
In other words, they're not able to voice how they feel, right? And therefore, nobody knows how they feel. You know, they can't. No one understands them. But they really that you don't know my feelings. That's why I do believe a lot of these crazy outbursts of people who just go crazy and snap. It's because, and they've shown that these people have sought help. No one listened to them. No one understood. And so when they inflict pain on the world, they feel relief because now someone knows how they feel. You feel that pain? Well, that's how I feel. And so I've read a lot. I mean, I'm always, trust me, I'm not glad that stuff happens. But it happens, and it's going to continue to happen. Yeah. It's the nature of this world. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't have any human beings on this planet, there were no humans, but there was life, animals, plants, whatever, hurricanes, the world would be just as it would be. There would be nobody to interpret a tornado as being, the government diverted it over there to kill, whatever.
It's just a tornado.
It's just a tornado.
Being a tornado.
And then, but we're humans, right? And we have a group of emotions that are counter to what true eternal emotions are, which are joy, bliss, happiness, all the benevolent forms of life that we come from, that I believe. Yeah. You and I, we don't get into an argument. Sometimes you worry that I'm going down a certain path that will leave certain people out because there's different forms of belief. Yeah. But to me, there's only one content. There's only one life, and life is love, and life is eternal. So if I was to say life is eternal, you are life, therefore you are eternal. That's great. But what does that mean here on earth? Because, my rent's due. Right? That doesn't help me pay my rent.
It doesn't fix my relationship. It doesn't, make my kids quit, sneaking out of the house or whatever. It doesn't make COVID go away. It doesn't,
So we experience hell on earth to know that what eternity is, because this is temporary, right? Yeah. Again, how many do we say it almost?
And we create our own hell. Don't we create our own hell,
and
because we could just move through these horrible situations that we perceive as horrible. Yeah. I'm not saying that they're not. I mean, somebody leaves you, they pass away, and they leave you. Yeah. It's sad, but it's what happens. They pass away and they leave. So we're sad because we miss them. Right. We're going to miss everything that they are in our lives. But after we go through our grieving process, what happens? Yeah. Hopefully, their memory becomes a blessing.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
So, but we have to go through our own personal grieving to get to that place.
Yeah.
So, but that grieving isn't horrible and terrible. And I
Nah.
think that people get stuck there
Yeah.
because they're afraid to let that go, because they're afraid to let the person go. When in reality, on the other side of it, isn't it beautiful that their memory is a blessing and they're with you? You're actually pushing them away because you don't want to think about them because it hurts so much. So you're not having them in your life.
Yeah.
And I think that it's the same way in all aspects of relationships. That joy, it's so funny. It's almost like we're allergic to happiness, right? We're allergic to joy. I just recently lost a whole bunch of weight. I stopped.
I found it, by the way.
Thank you very much. Oh, and you put it in all the right places, my love. So, but the reality is that in depriving myself, air quotes, of those foods that were keeping me uncomfortable, and really I lost weight because I felt uncomfortable. I didn't feel good. I'm short-waisted, and it was just I didn't feel comfortable. But I, air quotes, deprived myself of these foods. When I focused on the wonderful feeling that I had at the end of the day, it was easy. It wasn't depriving myself anymore. It was having it. And now I feel great. I shop in my closet. I feel lighter. I feel healthier. I feel great. And every once in a while, I allow myself those foods. But I also think of how good I feel. What is it that they say? Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Well, you know what you said to me last night?
What?
About your weight?
What?
You said, you know what? It's not worth it to get to a 2 to me. I like, eating this. And to me, I said, I don't care what form you have. I mean, I'm happy with you no matter what, because it's, but I said, I like your curves.
Oh.
But
yeah, he loves my curves now that they're
curvy.
smaller.
You're curvy.
I am curvy.
But
I love, now I embrace, I love my curves,
and that's
but I
my
like them
point.
in a
You're
size 4.
You're happy with yourself.
As opposed to a size 10.
But you're happy with yourself.
I am happy with myself.
You're having better thoughts about yourself because you're feeling better.
I feel
about
better.
yourself.
And by the way,
that's the key. Yeah.
There are women that I see in a size 10 and they love their curves. And I think that they're absolutely beautiful in that size. I just, what's different in that, in this aspect is how I feel.
Yes.
So I feel healthier and better. Now, mind you, I don't want to be a size 0, but I feel very comfortable at this weight and size. I want to work out and, and be healthier. But I digress. My point is...
No, actually you're not.
I'm not?
Because your feelings coming from inside, right?
Yes.
Being impeccable with your words.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Now
I'm being impeccable with my words.
Think about this for a second.
Mm-hmm.
People who lose weight because they're afraid of what people think about them.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a moment.
Yeah.
Versus losing weight because you want to feel better about yourself.
Yes.
See the difference?
That's when I lost it.
Is outside of yourself.
Yes.
You're depending other people
on
outside of
validation
you.
from outside.
That's it. And remember, everything we need is within us. You lost weight for the feeling in you, not because of what you thought I thought about your weight or what anyone else thought.
Correct.
That's so important, because if you lose it if you're depending on validation outside of yourself because you're afraid of what people think if you gain weight, that's so unhealthy.
Totally.
Versus you got sick and tired. You told me, I'm sick and tired. I want to do something. I said, well, okay. But the way you felt about yourself, it wasn't your fear of what other people thought. It's the way you felt about yourself.
And you supported that because you felt that I was in integrity. What I was doing, what I was saying, all of it was in integrity and alignment.
Yeah.
And you supported me then.
Exactly. One of my favorite, not that I'm into it, but I can't help, my mother loves People magazine, all right? So I ordered that for, and I kind of flipped through it. But
it's fun.
Pierce Brosnan and his wife, what's her name? Shaylee Keys?
Yeah. She's so
Shaylee
beautiful.
K or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, when they got
Shaylee,
married, they both were like, they were young.
Gorgeous.
And trim and tight. And
Gorgeous,
she was like
perfect.
slim. And she's obviously gained a lot of weight, but you can tell he loves her the same.
Absolutely
and
adores
who
her.
else? Also, Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh
yeah,
Jackman.
his wife's older.
And it's like picking on these ladies who have gained a lot of weight. I mean, it's society's norms, right?
It's an exaggerated example, but these are beautiful women, and their husbands absolutely adore them, and we love that.
Both those men are just, they're heartbreakers. How many women love them?
God,
they're man's man.
And they have eyes only for their,
And that's my point. They love them no matter what. So.
Are you saying that? Are you my Pierce Brosnan? Are you my Hugh Jackman?
Absolutely, baby.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Oh my gosh.
So the point.
You're the sweetest ever. I love that.
See, we're getting rid of the BS inside of us, and see, love's just coming to the surface.
It's all love.
Oh my God, I may get sick. No, I'm not. I love it.
But you know what? I think that.
But it's true. We're getting rid of the crap.
Yeah. I think it's really important.
And this is what's coming to the top.
Yeah, part of it is that we're losing a lot of the fear of being honest with each other. Yeah. Last night we were talking, and I gave you a truth, and you gave me a truth also, but we didn't get into a fight about it. We just kind of looked at each other and heard what we said. And said, okay, well, let me look at that. Let me see how that works. And I think, I don't know, we're going to end up, when we go off the air, when we stop doing this podcast, it's because we've completely, we've spontaneously combusted and disappeared into the spiritual ether, because we've stopped being human, and we are just spiritual beings. I remember when we used to fight all the time, you used to tell me, I just want to be spiritual. I don't want to be human anymore. And I would you have to be human because you're on this planet with me. And I was so afraid, and I would get so mad at you. And now I'm like, yeah, let's go be spiritual up in the ether. No, I love being human.
I don't want to go yet, and it may not be my choice.
We're so crazy. At this point, people stop listening to us because it's like, what the hell are those two talking about?
Well, we did not, and we quit taking things personally.
We
right?
did, yeah.
That's when we get into an argument, when we take it personally.
Totally.
Right? Man, you really baited me last night, though, and I didn't bite it at all.
You told me you love when I'm crazy, so I was just giving you love. I was giving you love.
Oh my God.
You love my crazy.
The stuff you never mind.
This is the absolute truth. I'm going to tell on you. When we first started dating, the first year, you said to me, I need a little crazy. I need you to be a little crazy. Did you not say that?
I did.
You did.
And man, you have not let me down.
That's right. That's right.
Cuckoo in the coconut. Loco. So...
Thank you for permission to be a little crazy.
So, but I think we have a lot of fun, and we're having more and more fun. But this lesson is very powerful. Be impeccable with your words.
I don't know. It just popped in my head, and I said, we've got to do this lesson.
Yep.
So thank you, babe. So thank you for this amazing lesson and your words today. This is just amazing. And I would like to leave people with 2 nuggets or 3.
Be impeccable with our words.
We'll select something. For me, when the crazy is coming up in my mouth, I know my mouth is about to go. I stop, and I either go off by myself, I write it down, and I stick it in a drawer, or and I've done this with you. I've actually, with friends or whatever, people that have irritated me, I've written these crazy texts, and then I don't send them. I just don't send them. And then I wait for an hour or 2 hours. I come back, I read it, and I delete it. Because it's really not what I meant to say.
I feel that you transfer that energy going on into words that display on a phone. Mm-hmm. That energy is now in those words inside of you.
Yeah.
So you kind of vent it in your own way, because sometimes them words, always remember, I remember this, don't judge someone unless you've walked 1,000 miles in their moccasins. I don't know where that came from. Probably the Native American Indians came up with that.
Probably. They're smart, wise.
The real Americans. Everyone else is an immigrant. So, including us. And all my 17 genes that from different whatever in Europe and Japan. But anyway, I digress. So what I'm saying...
I'm speaking the bubbles over my head, but I should be...
Being impeccable with your words is really powerful, because, you got those feelings on that text and never sent it.
Yeah. When I feel myself at a 10 emotionally, like I'm just going there, I'm angry or I'm super scared or something's going on, I've kind of trained myself, and it works for me more often than not. Sometimes I do go over the edge, but I've kind of trained myself to just like stop and then do something that allows me to expend that energy, that angry energy, that feared energy, whatever it is, and then just kind of sit with it.
Yeah.
So I don't take it to my target. So yeah, I've written you a lot of letters, or to my friends or the people that I care about. I mean, in this environment, I got to tell you something. Like my brother, my family, and I are politically on different ends of the. We're kind of not on different ends. Well, anyway, I guess we are. I consider myself to be more in the middle, but they're all the way on one end, and they've kind of irritated the heck out of me a lot over the last couple of months. But my relationship with them is so important to me that I literally will step away. I won't respond. I'll just write down. I'll call you and tell you that something just happened. But we've avoided a lot of fights because of that.
The power of decision is my own. You're being impeccable with your words. But the feeling inside of being with your family is much more important than any type of
external
polarized rhetoric, whatever differences.
Yeah.
That right there is the choice you're making.
Yeah.
I've seen you make that choice since you've rekindled your life with your family.
Yeah.
You have gotten so, it's like the flip of a switch now.
Yeah.
Because the feeling you want. You're not worried what they think. I've seen instances where certain things have been promoted and you're like, you just shut it down. It's like, yep, you don't care.
Not doing
what
it.
you're really saying is, you know what, that's going to interfere with my feelings about everything about the family, and it's nothing.
I choose peace instead of this.
That's exactly
I'm
right.
gonna choose peace instead of this.
Absolutely, baby. Good.
You taught me that.
That's one of the first. That's what got this ball rolling. When I remember that, I said, I can choose peace instead of this.
Oh my gosh,
and it's
that's
true.
right.
The power of decision is my own. So I'll tell you something like Course in Miracles. When I was trying to find one that kind of fit, be impeccable with your words, as I'm going through, it's just astounding how there's a common thread through the whole book and through every lesson. Peace within. And that's what this whole podcast is about, right? Peace within, release your spirit.
Yeah.
So everything we need is within us.
Yeah.
When we depend on something outside of us is when we are going to eventually find that pain, and it's going to come back to us choosing the happiness and the peace within. And then we project that into the outside world.
Yeah.
And you know what? You never want to say, oh, I see my last bit of struggles on this planet, the blame, the anger I have toward this person or that person, what's going to happen if I get rid of those? Well, I don't know, but I really don't want to have any more grievances toward anyone for any reason, no matter who they are or what they are. But so I think filtering through the thoughts, trying to be impeccable with your words it's not even being impeccable with your words. It's the process of filtering through your thoughts, and then you're going to find your feelings. So you said you wanted to come up with a couple of nuggets. So I have one.
That's my nugget. So mine is take a minute when you're feeling that you're going to that nth level with someone that you care about, that you love, or whatever. Take a moment. Here's the deal: you can always come back to it, right?
Absolutely.
You can always come back. You can always throw a fit.
That's right.
No, nobody's stopping you from doing that. So take a minute.
Yep. So my nugget, of course, is going to go back to Timur Bekmambetov, the Russian director. The guy is awesome. So
that was a really powerful scene.
Absolutely.
You showed it to me last night.
So So to me, is a tree is the hatred that you feel. Or the fear. And Lincoln said in that clip, that's impossible to cut that tree down with one swing. So the hatred is what I want to be able, anytime I feel hatred. Yeah. I think it becomes rote and mundane. After a while, you filter through your thoughts, you get down to your feelings, you let go, you forgive. That's really the nugget that I want to parlay here.
So the nugget
is figure out what the tree of hate is. That whoever it's usually a person you're hating, right?
Yeah.
One swing of an axe, and that axe is forgiveness. That axe is letting go.
Letting go.
Yeah, you can chop down that hatred with forgiveness, and that's really where I want to be. Anytime I feel a hatred or anger or towards someone, whatever. So they're the tree of hate that I want to cut down.
So you're inviting people to visualize that so that they can get on the road to forgiveness.
But I don't want to hate anybody for any reason because I don't want any hate in me.
It's poison.
It blocks the sun shine from shining out. It blocks the love from coming out because you can't have it both ways.
No.
You can't completely love if there's hate in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get rid of it.
It's taking up the space.
By the way, that same lesson is talking about there's only one truth. Anything outside of that is an illusion. And that's what the whole idea of A Course in Miracles is about. So we're off in this fantasy land of things that are not even existing.
Yeah.
Love is real.
Yeah.
Hate is not. So the hate is clouding the love in our lives. You have to cleanse it all out and let it all go. And it's like, I know I mention it a lot, but the pain of my brother being gone and the way he was taken out of this world is... I've never hated the guy. That's what's puzzled me. How come I've never hated him? How come I've never wanted something bad to happen to him? I'm going, that's really crazy. He's the one of all people on this planet, but I never have. And I guess I find self-happiness within me that I didn't feel that. So, okay, so I'm on a good path here. So I need the other people that I feel that are on my path of hate. I don't want that in me anymore.
Well, it's a journey.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
It's a journey.
So that's the nugget. I want the axe of forgiveness will chop down the tree of hate in one swing. If we become more skilled at it, is the point. So that's what that's what this whole series is about, because there's peace and love within us. That's what we're after. And you got to cut down these trees of hate. And how do we do that? So brilliant, you coming up with the idea of being impeccable with your word.
I love it.
And that this all flows from that and ties into this lesson. They're all the same, really. We're trying to get down to the feelings, and the feelings of love. And somebody who says, I don't have love, and the darkness in them was taken over. And there's probably people in history throughout, Pol Pot, Vlad the Impaler, Saddam
Manson,
Hussein, but we need to remember them because they also represent a part of ourselves that we could choose and be. But I personally don't want to choose that anymore.
Exactly.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
I think we're going to leave it there.
Good nuggets.
This was pretty amazing. And just a reminder that that movie that you're talking,
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to, I think you
can YouTube the scene where he's chopping down the tree lesson. Whatever you'll find it, but it's very powerful.
It is really powerful.
Really powerful.
That's great. And my nugget to think before you speak. I'm sure I don't know who said that first, but it's been said often.
Yes.
Say it to yourself often. I say it to myself often.
Yes. Can't get the toothpaste back in the tube.
That's right. And that's our episode for this week. And we invite everyone to find us on YouTube, on subscribe, and download on your favorite listening app, and fightthegoodfightclub.com. And until next week, I am Cynthia Cintron.
I'm Marcel Pope. Namaste.
Have a great week.
If you enjoy our podcast, we invite you to subscribe to Fight the Good Fight Club on YouTube. Hit the notification button and give us a thumbs up. Also, head over to fightthegoodfightclub.com and sign up for the newsletter, read blogs, and more. Thanks for listening.